When machines become better machines, we humans have to become better humans. And we have to. So we have to focus more on these human aspects that separates us from the machines. Because the things we are copied from the machines, like mathematics stuff and things like that, they're much better. Let's give it to them. That's what I said before with human digital. It's really about, okay, really looking at what they are good and what is my human rule.
Hello and welcome to Let's Talk About Tech. Today we will talk about futurists and potentials, mistakes, trends, a lot of interesting things with my guest, Marcel Aberle, a futurist, former founder and curious mind from day one. Hello, Marcel.
Hi, Berthold.
It's a pleasure to have you. Tell us a little bit about your story. What made you curious when you grew up?
Oh, I was always curious when I was a kid. I really liked this Pro-Idee catalogs. It was, I don't know if it's available in Austria, but in Germany, it's a quite common catalog. And they compare all the new kind of cool tech gadgets. And I really loved the catalog every time. It was really my go-to place as a child. And I bought all the crazy stuff and played around. So I was always curious about tech, but also about people, why they do things, why they don't do certain things. So yeah, that's something, the curiosity was always a part of me, yes.
So growing up, being curious, have you been an A-grade student?
No.
So not the smartest in the classroom, but the most curious?
No, yes, absolutely. I was not a good student at all. I was, especially in language, I was super bad. And and it was boring. School was often boring for me. And so, yeah.
Well, we all know that, right? School seldomly excites us, but then in the end, you find a lot of entrepreneurs, right, that have this curiosity and that have picked up enough, right, to change the world. And you started a few companies yourself, right? How was that experience?
Yes, I started two companies and was around 6 years in the startup area, and I mean it was a roller coaster. I can't remember. I talked before with a friend. He was in the startup area before, and I said, before I just worked in big enterprises like Fujitsu, Siemens, and I already worked in innovation and tech. And I asked him, so what is the difference? And he said to me, look, when you work for an enterprise, it's also like a roller coaster. But you go through this roller coaster once a year. In a startup, you go through a roller coaster every week. And that's the difference. And this is what I really felt in these 6 years. It was super exciting, but it was a roller coaster every week.
You raised capital.
Yes.
So you had also this experience with investors and
yes, it was very exciting. At the one day, you got some funding. I don't know, some government funding. The next day, you got decline from an investor, and so all these emotional up and downs. And it was a really exciting time for me. Yeah.
You told me you have given a Tedx speech before. What was that about? Was that related to entrepreneurship, or is it more into the direction of trends, futurism, your work today?
It's a long time ago. It's, I think, already 13 years ago. And in that area, I still worked for Siemens in the innovation area. And I talked about social collaboration tools in business. So at that time, 13, 15 years ago, nobody talked about Slack or these social collaboration tools, right? The main tool was email. And I was responsible for a project called Zero Email. And the idea was really to find better solutions, especially for internal communication, not using email, using social collaboration tools. And at that time, this was super exciting. And so I got this invitation to the TED Talk.
Very cool. So today you don't publish too much, right? But you work a lot as an advisor, as a speaker around trends, future trends in
Yes.
particular.
Yes.
If you would pick 3 trends, like which ones would they be? Or can you explain us a little bit how that work looks like?
Yeah, so I do not publish a lot. Of course, I publish some articles and stuff like that on LinkedIn and so on. But I'm part of different trend research networks. For example, Trend Watching is one of the biggest. They're based in Amsterdam, but they have trend scouts around the world, really from Cuba to Asia, they have trend scouts everywhere. And I'm a trend scout for Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. And it's always like the same deal. So I have to put into the database each month, like 4 signals, 4 best practices into the database. And based on that, I can use the whole database and also the connection to the other trend researchers. And then trend watching is really analyze all the trends, all the signals, and then they're publishing the trend reports.
Okay. And when a client approaches you, let's say a corporate, like Venionaire Capital, right? So we approach you and say, hey, we want to be prepared, right? We want to mitigate risk.
Yes.
Which trends should we look at? What should we have in mind today?
So what is super interesting at the moment is this whole, not just the trends, but especially the transformations we are in. And at the moment, we have a lot of transformations, and they all appear from this trend and counter trend perspective. So on the one hand, we have the big digitalization, which got another big push by all the AI stuff. And the counter trend of all the digitalization is this whole mindfulness movement. So as more we look at the screens and get addicted and so on, more and more people are looking for human experiences, for tactic things, for haptic things. And so the question is, how can we find a good balance between the human and the digital, you know? And that's one transformation, one of 6 big transformations. It's called human digital. So this is very important to look at, okay, where in my business, but also in your business, where are the machines really good? What they are capable of? And what, from my business, what do I give to the machines, to the AIs, like pattern recognition, mathematics stuff, tracking, all that things. But then on the other hand, in the respective business, where comes the human aspects? You know, the empathy, security, the emotions, relationship, all that stuff where we humans are better than the machines. And as I said, as more we digitalize, as more these human aspects come important. So this is one, for me, very interesting transformation at the moment where we're in. And the other one is collaboration, which is really connected to the human digital stuff, because everything is getting more and more complex. We live in a world which is super connected, super globalized, and everything is also getting more complex and more specific. So it doesn't matter if we talk about geopolitical stuff. Nobody can solve the problems alone. But also when we talk about the economy, when you look at the supply chain for chips, etc., we need to collaborate to make things happen. But also when you look at the level of enterprises, when it comes to innovation, to realize really great ideas or to solve great challenges, we have to collaborate much more. And but also on a personal perspective, it's the same. Everybody have to think about, as I said before, how do I collaborate with the machines, with the AI, with the robotics, and so on. So collaboration for me is very interesting, and it's happening on another level. The interesting thing is about collaboration, you can read a lot of trend studies nobody's talking about, but because it's nothing new. We still do some collaborations, it's nothing new. But when you look really closely, you see that it's happening on a different level. And when you understand the whole complexity, you realize, okay, it has to happen on a complete different level. So collaboration is really super interesting. And in my work, I also look a lot at all these counter trends. I mean, at the moment when we talk about AI, I do not have to do a lot of research about AI because of thousands of trend researchers do research in AI. What I think is also very interesting as a niche trend, as a counter trend, and which you not read a lot in the media, is, for example, ambient computing. And ambient computing is also connected to the human digital, because the idea of ambient computing is that the technology, all the screens, that is going more and more into the background and just pops up when we need it, when we need this information, when we need advice, so that we humans have more time for what makes us human interactions.
So it's like a digital acceleration in daily life, like augmented reality.
Yeah,
in
for
my
example,
glasses,
or also the whole smart speaker stuff is going into this direction. There's a lot of interesting projects from Google where they really put certain displays into ordinary stuff. And no display, just when you look at it, it's popping up. When you not look at it, you see nothing. Nothing is distracting you from the human interaction.
Right.
So I think that's it's a very interesting trend. And for me, it's also, I have to say, it's a nice picture or a nice scenario of the future. How is the future of technology?
Super interesting. Ambient computing is a new word for me. I'm definitely copying that, right? And
Sure.
now I've added it in my shelf of really smart words I can use. Super interesting. And in the field of collaboration, just had this thought when you were talking. So we go much beyond Facebook, LinkedIn, right? It's more of intercultural collaboration, machine to machine, human to machine communication. So collaboration also, on a much wider perspective.
Perspective, exactly. Also at the moment, it's like, okay, there's players in a certain industry, they collaborate, right. But we have to do it much more horizontal. More horizontal to really create nice ideas, to create nice experiences, and also to solve big problems.
Right.
Also, especially when you look at common industries, it's like you have also this shortage of skilled workers. It's not able anymore to hire everybody you need to solve something. So even this forces you to collaborate with freelancers, with the gig economy, and so on and so on.
Will we soon be high-fiving with our human robots?
Sure. Yeah, we have to do it. And that's what I said before with human digital. It's really about, really looking at what they are good at, do it. And what is my human rule? One colleague from me said once, and I think that's so very important. He said, when machines become better machines, we humans have to become better humans. And we have to, you know what I mean? So we have to focus more on these human aspects that separates us from the machines, because the things we are copied or from the machines, like all the mathematics stuff and things like that, they're much better. Let's give it to them. Give it to them. They should do it.
I can totally follow you. We have all seen the movies Terminator, right? So behave and be friendly to your robots, right? They might come at you.
But that's a really super interesting example. I was always very curious about why the Asian people have a totally different relationship to robots. And it's really because of the media.
Oh, really?
Because in Asia, all the movies, the books, the robots are always the cute little things that helps you. You know, but in the Western world, it's always like the Terminator, which tries to destroy your world. So that's really interesting how media, is forming our culture, especially when it comes to this, new relationship, I would say, to robotics.
You guys tell us in the comments if you would like to have a humanoid robot at home. I'd be curious. I wanted to ask you also about a topic that you explained me just earlier, parallelism.
Yeah,
did I say that right?
I think so, yes.
Super complicated word.
Maybe also drop us a comment if this is the right word.
So parallelism.
Yeah,
what is that?
I think that's the big challenge. Everybody is talking about the speed of technology development. The speed, it's everything going so fast. But I think the big problem is that so many things happening parallel and they interact to each other.
Okay.
That's what is so overwhelming for us. You
also mean like the interlink of development curves,
yes,
right?
For example, when you talk about AI
fast innovation
and bioengineering, Internet of Things, everything is linking, and so many developments are happening parallel.
Yeah,
and that's the big complexity.
Just around AI, right? You have from software stack to chip technologies, right? From CMOS, quantum, photonic computing, down to material science, bioengineering, right?
It's crazy.
There's a lot of things, right, that are involved in that.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the Futurium in Berlin? This is this.
Yes.
And there's I don't know if you remember. There's at the beginning. It's one wall where you see all this big developments, and it was like there was the steam machine, and then came the internet, and you see this here, and there's something happening, and then it's like,
right.
And that's what I mean with this parallelism, with the parallel developments. It's hard to catch, hard to understand, hard to keep an overview, because so many things are happening parallel, and I think that's that's a big challenge at the moment. Also for me as a trend scout.
Yeah, and I'm curious how you solve that, right? Because on a day-to-day basis, our analysts obviously analyze what's out there, right?
Yes.
And it's a little bit schizophrenic. As a VC, venture capital company, you invest always in stuff that will be in a huge demand in 5 to 7 years, right?
Yeah.
But you have to scout it early, right?
Yeah,
so you have to understand what picks up.
When comes the tipping point.
Right. But the problem is you have so many things, right? And so many mega trends and so many innovation cycles that kind of interlink in each other, right? And innovation speed that actually skyrocketed, where it became incredibly difficult to find the needle in the haystack.
Yeah.
So how do you prioritize, and how do you make sense out of this flood of information?
The question is really collaboration.
Okay.
The question is really collaboration to bring the respective experts together, and the second thing is really to learn this holistic thinking and system thinking. And at the Zukunftsinstitut, at the Future Institute here in Austria, I developed a method called Trend Canvas. And this is really focused on analyzing the impact of a trend or of a technology development really holistically. That you really get a feeling, not just, I don't know, there's this new tool like AI, and I can do this and that, or I can have a solution for this or that for that. But also really to understand how is everything connected. What is the impact on the economy? What is the impact on the society? And how is this triggering human needs? And what is the effect on the nature? And then, of course, what are the market potential? What are the potential for better processes, better products? But really understand like all the systems, how they come together, and talk with the respective experts so that you really at least try. You always can just try to get a holistic perspective, because when you talk about AI with some psychologists, you get something totally different out of it, like when I talk with a VC. But bringing these experts, these views together and map it and try to get a holistic understanding, I think that's the key to grab this complexity. Because it's always like we always try to reduce complexity, but to be honest, the complexity doesn't care. It's still complex, So it's not about reducing complex. It's about to get access to it, to get access to the complexity, and system thinking, collaboration is my way to go. Yeah.
Right. So we need to understand this complex world better.
Yeah.
I can see why you're in highly demand as a futurist. There's a lot of stuff that I have lost control of, right? And I might consult your services in the future. It was a pleasure having you, Marcel. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for the next episode. Goodbye.
Bye.